I'm going to try to make this a brief one because my phone these days is just not able to process videos that are very long, unfortunately, very unfortunately. But the idea that I had in my mind was this idea of I'm basically on Nofap. I mean, what you have to understand, I've been staying away from the main problem, right? Uh, PORN and NSFW content. I've been staying away from that for weeks now, and I'm noticing considerable improvements of my life. I'm going to bed much earlier than 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm actually going to bed much closer to 12 o'clock, and I'm getting up closer to 9 o'clock these days, and that is something that I'm beginning to do because even if gooning's not a good thing to be doing, but if you do it without the material, right, it still does not waste near as much dopamine, doesn't waste near as much time, and it's hard to break, but it's definitely worthwhile. But what this video was going to be about, and I'm trying to think how I'm going to communicate this. It's basically about art, and it's basically about how this sort of rajasic energy that you get. I think what one of my biggest problems is that I like to eat really spicy food sometimes, and that can actually irritate the senses. And when it comes to the sort of more sattvic, raw vegan type lifestyle, it speaks against this type of thing because it can create a lot of rajas, which is a lot of passion within the system, which is not necessarily sexual, but it is linked to the possibility to be sexual. And basically, this is about art, and it's about how back when I was younger, I actually was fairly into art. Although I had an issue with gooning back then too, but a lot of the art that I drew at that time, I was mostly trying to draw landscapes, and I did fairly okay at it. But what I've noticed is a lot of these art tutorials, especially the more anime type art tutorials, I get very triggered very easy by them, and it's partly because of the rajas. But basically, what I was wondering is there ever a time where you master this sort of impulse, you master this sort of energy, and it doesn't bother you like it does now? Because I've noticed that even the idea of drawing a female being for any reason kind of feels very fiery and feels very rajasic. It feels like a very difficult thing to do, to even conceptualize doing. And that picture that I drew on my posts, that's about how good my art is right now. It's not really that great, but you see, the thing is, some of that rajasic energy, it has its place when it comes to art. And I was just wondering, is it possible that when you master yourself enough, that you can speak this kind of language, and you can kind of draw things that some of the more lower class minded people would usually consider to be gooner type art, right? Except maybe without the exposure and without the huge breasts and all that type of stuff. Is it possible to just that you're going to be motivated, or is it possible that you could develop sort of an energy around this, where you could communicate, your warrior mindset to these type of people, because it really does seem difficult to even conceptualize at this point. And you know, some of these Hindu art that you see sometimes in some of these temples, it's not meant to be gooned to, but it is expressed in a way that is very sexual and rajasic, right? But you're supposed to go beyond that, and your mind is supposed to be able to understand. There's either a lesson behind it that you're supposed to learn, or you're supposed to understand the deeper meaning, right? And I was just wondering, what is it that, when I'm on Nofap, I get this really sticky feeling about certain things, and it seems like I can't express that in any way, you know? I guess you have to have some type of experience in the world. I'm really not super good at socializing either. But you got to have some type of experience in the world, I think, on some degree. Not necessarily. You could break through it possibly just by retaining long enough and getting better at, controlling the energy and stuff like that. But if there's anybody who understands what I'm trying to say here, what I'm trying to communicate, feel free to give any explanations. Right? It's around day 4 now, but I am beginning to notice that type of stuff. And as much as I want to, operate on all these different levels and communicate through all these different, artistic things and stuff, it just seems impossible to do as of now. So that's really all I wanted to say. And if any of you have anything to say about this, does it get better, right? Feel free to comment.